welcome to your little sample segment for what you might see in a yoga remix or lunch hour yoga class at DM Wellness and Yoga. So this class is moderately paced, vinyasa based, and we will typically start with a grounded sequence, something to warm up the body, moving into bigger progressions of movements and adding into some balance and core work. And then we have a nice little bit of yin to cool down. So today you'll just see a little sample segment of a grounded warm-up and then a piece of our standing practice. So I invite you to join me by coming down to your mat and onto your belly to get started today. So slowly just lower down. Feet can be about hip width distance apart, resting on the tops of your feet. And palms can stack to support your forehead as you come down to the belly. Take a few breaths just to get grounded, get settled, feel the muscles start to turn off and relax. And begin to get acquainted with that movement of your breath, what it feels like for your belly, your chest, or even your pelvis to interact with the floor as you breathe. Nice steady inhale, steady exhale, finding just that slow, natural pace in through your nose and out through your nose, breathing here. And then from this position, lift your head up a little bit, bring your hands under your shoulders, your elbows close to your side. So we're setting up for our low cobra. On a breath in, lift your head, lift your heart, feel your shoulders draw back, coming up into your low cobra. And then exhale, lower down. From here, breathe in, come up through all fours, and breathe out, shift your hips back, child's pose. Next breath in, shift forward, tuck your toes under, lift your knees, find a high plank. It's okay if you need to reposition here a little bit where your hands and feet have landed, breathing in. And then exhale, hips shift back, downward facing dog, and upside down V shape. Inhale, we're gonna rock forward, coming back to that high plank. And then exhale, gently lower your knees down to the mat. From all fours here, inhale to cow, drop your belly, open your heart. Exhale to cat, chin to chest, round as you push into the floor. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine and rock forward to your kneeling plank. Exhale, elbows draw back as you slowly lower back down, tops of the feet come to rest. With your hands under your shoulders, inhale, low cobra, or maybe even coming up a little higher in your cobra this round. Exhale, lower all the way down. Breathe in, come up through all fours. Breathe out, shift back to child's pose. Inhale, rock forward, tuck the toes, lift the knees, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, gently lower your knees. A breath in to cow, find your back bend. Breath out to cat, round. Inhale, neutral spine, shift forward. So one long line, knees to shoulders as you find your kneeling plank. And exhale, elbows draw back by your sides, lower all the way down. Setting back up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Breathe in, all fours. Breathe out, hips to heels. Inhale, rock forward, rise strong to your high plank. And then hip shift back, core stays engaged as you find your downward dog. Inhale, rock forward, high plank. Exhale, knees lower. A breath in to cow. And a breath out to cat. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down. Breathe in, cobra pose. Exhale to lower. Breathe in, all fours. And this time, hold your child's pose. Hips to heels. Maybe wiggle in a little bit. Take a few breaths. We'll get a little side body stretch here today too. So take your fingers first, just crawl them forward as far as they'll go. And then walk your hands over off the right side of your mat. So we're looking for a stretch along the left side body. Maybe even stacking your left hand on your right as you drop in. A few breaths here, creating this gentle spinal curve. And then start to crawl back through center. Keeping that extension, that length as you take it up and over to the left side, option right hand over the left. As you sink in, stretching now that right side body open. So bring your hands back to center, rock forward to all fours. And we'll reset to downward facing dog. Toes tuck under, hips shift up and back. Bend your knees to look forward and slowly travel up to the top of your mat. Breathe into a halfway lift. Lengthen the spine, push your hips back, reach your head forward, and engage your shoulder blades together. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Inhale all the way up, mountain pose, arms stretch overhead, and then exhale the hands to heart center. Take a few breaths here. Find your stable stance. Notice if you need to soften the knees a little bit, relax the shoulders, and still stand tall and proud. So you can keep your hands at heart center as you shift the weight to your right foot and step your left foot back. Left heel anchors for warrior one. So we stay squared forward through the hips and heart. As you inhale, warrior one, arms come overhead, shoulders soften. Take a few breaths here. We're stable, pushing the feet down into the mat and apart, like you're trying to rip that mat in half beneath your feet. Exhale here to bring your hands behind your back, palms connect, fingers interlace. So we call this a bind. So we get set up for humble warrior. Inhale, let your knuckles pull down, lift your heart, look up, and then exhale, fold inside that right leg, bowing into this humble warrior. So the legs are working a little bit more to keep us steady as you let your head, your chest drop, your hands rise up. Stay here for another breath in this bind. And then carefully release your hands down to frame your right foot as you pivot, lifting the left heel, setting up into a low lunge. Left hand plants under your shoulder as you breathe in, right arm stretches open for a twist. Gaze can come up to your right thumb or look to the side wall, whatever feels okay on your neck here. Stay for a breath. And then carefully plant your right hand down. Take a step back with your right foot, breathing in to your high plank. Exhale, drop the knees wide, big toes to touch, child's pose. Pause and breathe. And inhale, rock forward, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here, near down dog. You can always reset your position here, finding what feels stable, what feels solid through the hands and feet. And bend your knees, look forward, walk it back up to the top of your mat. Breathe in, strong, long, halfway lift. Breathe out, hinge, fold at the hips. Inhale all the way up, mountain pose, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a few reset breaths here. Again, giving you time to settle into your stance. Notice if you need to reposition where your feet have landed so you feel like you can relax into this pose. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And then hands will stay pushing together at heart center. As the weight begins to shift into your left foot, take your right foot back, spin the right heel down, turning the toes open just as far as you can still keep the hips squared forward. Sink into that lunge in the left knee as you breathe in, reach and rise, warrior one. Nice proud open heart. Option to take your gaze up and back. Your warrior one, exhale, hands behind the back, fingers interlace, palms connect. As you inhale, pull your hands down, open your heart, look up. Exhale, bow inside that left leg, humble warrior. Legs engage a little more. Hands rise up, neck can relax. Another breath. And then release your hands down to frame your foot. Right foot pivots, so we're in our low lunge. Right hand stays grounded, breathe in, left arm takes the reach for our dragonfly twist. Think of still lengthening from your right heel to the crown of your head, maybe zipping up through the core a little more so we're not dumping into that right hand. Last breath here. Left hand plants. Take a step back to your high plank, and this time lower to the knees, finding that kneeling plank. Stay here for a breath in. Exhale, elbows draw back, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, find a cobra. Exhale, child's pose. 3 breaths in child's pose. And then breathe in, high plank, toes tuck under, knees lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, walk your feet up about halfway on your mat, and walk your hands back to meet your feet. Slowly roll up to stand, shoulders drop back and down. I'll take a breath here, just to find the balance. And then take a quick one-legged mountain. So weight shifts over to one foot as you lift that opposite knee up in front of you, foot flexed, shoulders relaxed. Breathe here. Using your drishti, your gaze, to find that focal point straight ahead, just to lock in your focus. From here, see if you can kick and extend that leg for a breath or two. Still keeping balance, and then bend your knees, stamp that foot back down. Take a little shake off and switch sides. One-legged mountain, lifting the knee no higher than hip height, just finding that strong flex in your foot, that engagement of the belly. And then see if it's possible today to forcefully kick forward, extending your leg, finding the balance. Last breath, bend your knee and take it back down. Take a breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center and down by your sides. That'll close out our little sample segment of a yoga remix class or lunch hour yoga. Let me know what questions you have, what comments or feedback. You can always leave a note on the video or hit reply if you got this in an email. Thank you for watching.